F1 drivers can get into a fierce battle for a position, especially when they're teammates. In this video, we're going to go through 25 instances where teammates crashed into each other and changed the course of the championship. So stay tuned. Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg, Spain 2016. It's probably one of the most controversial crashes in the history of the sport. 2016's Barcelona GP. Hamilton tried to make a move on the outside but touched the grass after Rosberg closed the door. Eventually the Brit took both of them out, giving Verstappen his maiden win and a lot of headaches for Mercedes.
He's ahead of Valtteri Bottas, round turn 3 we go, and it's Nico Rosberg and Hamilton's onto the grass, and Hamilton's had a massive crash, and he's crashed into his teammate. The two Mercedes come together. We have the safety car out here, but the two silver arrows have crashed on the opening lap. Hamilton takes out his...
Daniel Ricciardo and Max Verstappen, Baku 2018. This is probably the race that determined the future of Ricciardo in Red Bull. The crash itself was truly a 50-50 blame, according to Horner, but at this point it was obvious that there is no more place for Daniel in the team. Lewis Hamilton and George Russell, Qatar 2023. Lewis Hamilton and Russell had their fair share of battles, but the 2023 Qatar GP might be the biggest lowlight of their shared time in Mercedes. After trying a pass on the outside, Hamilton saw the door being closed by Russell and he was taken out of the race, while George managed to finish fourth after starting on pole.
Let us know if you're okay, mate. Yeah, I'm taken out by my own teammate.
Come on! What the hell? Guys, come on! 2 races in a row!
Christian Fittipaldi and Pierluigi Martini, Italy 1993. It's not every day that you see an airborne incident in Formula 1, but that's what happened in 1993 between Fittipaldi and Martini during the Italian GP. The footage looks scary, so I would recommend not watching it if you're faint-hearted.
Damon Hill in Italy, and this is what happened, and oh, I didn't see that. That is Fittipaldi. Oh.
Daniel Ricciardo and Max Verstappen, Hungary 2017. After locking his front left tyre in Hungary, Verstappen failed to keep control of his car and hit Ricciardo's side pod, resulting in a DNF from the Aussie. His words after the crash echo the opinion he had for Max. Is that who I think it was?
Then comes Valtteri Bottas, and Lewis Hamilton's losing places as they touch the two Red Bulls and Ricciardo.
Ayrton Senna and Alain Prost, Japan 1989. What a fierce battle the McLaren drivers led back in 1989 in Japan. Unfortunately, it ended with a crash just before the start-finish line. Senna tried to complete a move from the inside, but Prost closed the door. The Brazilian didn't want to give up, and both of them parked their cars on the track.
Senna's looking for, and he's going through, out! Oh my goodness, this is fantastic! This is what we were fearing might happen during the race. And that means to say that Prost has won the World Championship.
Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri, Canada 2025. In a desperate move to try and gain position on his teammate, Norris learned the hard way that sometimes you shouldn't go for a non-existent gap. What followed was a huge dent in his championship hopes.
Are you alright, dude?
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's all my bad. All my fault. Unlucky. Sorry. Stupid for me.
Ralf Schumacher and Juan Pablo Montoya, United States 2002. It wasn't a great time to be a Williams fan back in 2002, and this crash between Schumacher and Montoya during the US GP shows it all. For all of the Williams fans out there, I feel for you. Ralf Schumacher and Juan Pablo Montoya, Europe 2004. I guess the same can be said for 2004 as well. What can I say? These two had hard times in adapting as teammates.
Beating your teammate is one thing, but being taken out by Montoya in the first corner will really put Ralph's nose out of joint.
Pierre Gasly and Esteban Ocon, Australia 2023. These two hated each other since childhood, but even though they managed to squash the beef during their joint Alpine time, the Australian GP in 2023 saw a reignite in the tension. Gasly rejoined the track in an unsafe manner and probably didn't see Ocon in his mirror. Do you think Esteban brought this story during the debrief?
Where to place it, Gasly rejoining, and then these two, Gasly doesn't know his teammates there, and detonation for the Alpine.
Esteban Ocon and Sergio Perez, Singapore 2018. Similar to Ralph, Ocon wasn't really the best teammate, and during his joint time with Sergio Perez in Force India in 2018, they had unnecessary crashes. The Singaporean GP saw Perez closing the door on Ocon, and the Frenchman had nowhere to go, resulting in an early DNF.
I got hit by Sergio badly.
Thiago Monteiro and Christian Albers, Canada 2006. What an awkward way to crash with your teammate. Just look at how they looked at each other after the crash that appeared before the long straight in Canada. I guess it's not the best time to be a fan of Jordan's successor.
They've made contact with each other. Safety car is being deployed, but the two Midlands were the cars we saw having problems at the hairpin on the opening lap.
Pierre Gasly and Esteban Ocon, Monaco 2024. This is the race that decided Ocon's future in Alpine. Such a dirty move on his teammate, trying to overtake under yellow flags and almost taking them both out, resulting in what we'd assume was a fierce debate behind closed doors. But Ocon has no one to blame but himself. That's why he's part of Haas now.
You've got Albon just ahead of Gasly here, and Ocon on the inside getting sent airborne.
Mika Häkkinen and David Coulthard, Austria 1999. The champion Häkkinen and Coulthard had some interesting moments during their time in McLaren, and one of them was the 1999 Austrians GP. As they led the caravan in turn 2, a crash happened, and while both managed to finish on the podium, the race was won by a Ferrari driver, Irvine. I wonder if the ice-cold Finn had something to say to Coulthard after the race.
Flying around off of a front, probably an end fence of a front wing. Oh, Coulthard and Häkkinen touch.
Great start by Rubin, and off goes the McLaren. Already, here's the replay as they turn in for turn 2.
Yes, Coulthard coming from a long way back.
Sebastian Vettel and Mark Webber, Turkey 2010. It was the first year of Red Bull's domination, and the word limits didn't exist in Webber or Vettel's dictionary. During the 2010 Turkey GP, Vettel tried to scare his teammate off, but ended up crashing into him and ending the race prematurely. Webber finished outside of the points after pitting for repairs, just one of the many crashes between these two during their Red Bull time.
Webber's left the door wide open.
Oh dear, they've come together! Webber and Vettel have come together. That's Vettel going out, Webber going out. What was going on there? Through goes Jensen Button.
Pulling right there, he had the position, and there will be a lot of frustration in that Red Bull debrief after the race. I'm giving that 100% Vettel's fault.
Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg, Belgium 2014. This video wouldn't be it without some Hamilton and Rosberg crashes, but let's go to the 2014 Spa GP. By trying to close the door to Rosberg at the end of the Radion straight, Hamilton ended with a puncture while Rosberg's front wing got damage. Eventually, Rosberg finished second while Lewis retired due to the damage, and the rivalry just continued on.
RS not in play yet, but Hamilton hasn't got the grip that Rosberg has got.
Oh, and to be fair, Hamilton has actually got more of a front wing now. He's got to puncture Lewis Hamilton. Nico Rosberg's lost a bit of front wing.
Jean Alesi and Nick Heidfeld, Austria 2000. Let's continue with these two and go to Austria. During the same year, 2000, the roles were switched, and it was Alesi who tried to move a bit too late as they entered turn 1. It was one of the most legendary mistakes from Alesi, and I think you can see why.
It is. That's too late. Whoever was coming in second there, which is Jean Alesi, was coming in too late. That one has got to be firmly on Alesi's shoulders.
Look at those shards of carbon fibre being smashed off the car. Look at them all over the circuit. Rubens Barrichello will have had to run through that lot, and it is not impossible that he could get a puncture as a result of it.
Sebastian Vettel and Charles Leclerc, Brazil 2019. Vettel's time with Ferrari was all but glorious, and in 2019 there were some lowlights between him and his new teammate, Leclerc. The Brazilian GP saw both of the Ferrari drivers crash after Leclerc gained a position on Vettel, but in the first DRS zone, the German driver didn't want to just let go of that P4. Ultimately, both of them failed to finish the race. Not a great time to be a Ferrari fan.
Reposta, can he now fight back? Leclerc made it very tough earlier. No, he's got a puncture. They made contact, and Charles Leclerc's got a puncture caused by contact with his teammate Sebastian Vettel.
And this is totally self-inflicted here for Ferrari.
Ricciardo Zonta and Jacques Villeneuve, Germany 2000. A very interesting sequence from the BAR Honda drivers. Can you count how many times Villeneuve spun after being hit by Zonta? I think I'll get sick, so I'll leave that up to you.
Can't see that when you're doing 180 miles an hour driving past the start-finish line, and still the BAR...
Villeneuve, that's Villeneuve and Zonta! Zonta has hit Jacques Villeneuve, who pirouettes through 360 degrees time and time again, brilliantly keeps the engine running and accelerates away, just as Ralf Schumacher in 12th position gets past him.
Lewis Hamilton and Jenson Button, Canada 2011. In a wet Canadian GP, Hamilton had a much better exit at the Wall of Champions section, but he failed to pass Button as both of them crashed in the same place that Norris and Piastri did 14 years later. Amazingly enough, Button went on to win the race by a last lap pass on Vettel.
And get another drive-through penalty. What do you think?
Well, I think in that case, there's no question as you see him. Oh, no, McLaren's touch! That is, well, Lewis Hamilton obviously with suspension damage, puncture. I'd be surprised if he makes it round to back into the pits, but the problem in those conditions is Jenson Button can't see in his mirrors. There's so much
Nico Rosberg and Mark Webber, Brazil 2006. Many of you don't know that these two shared a team back in 2006, Williams, but we'll remind you with a crash that happened during the Brazilian GP. Rosberg, a rookie back then, slammed his car into the back of his teammates, causing both of them to retire after the first lap of the race. We'll remember Mark's words, "Brittany is in the wall again," calling Nico by his nickname.
Webber brakes late and gets hit by his teammate.
Gerhard Berger and Jean Alesi, Italy 1993. Let's remind you about a very awkward crash during the qualifying session of the Italian GP back in 1993 between Berger and Alesi. Jean tried to move out the way, but he eventually ended Berger's qualifying, so there was a huge misunderstanding between the Ferrari drivers. These things happen, nothing else to say.
Well, really now we look forward to... Oh my, what has happened? Alesi pulled right across the front of Gerhard Berger. That was not intentional. That was, I think, Alesi trying to get out of the way. Berger complete... Jean Alesi is absolutely devastated. And Gerhard Berger hopefully is totally uninjured.
Jean Alesi and Nick Heidfeld, France 2000. The year where Alesi and Heidfeld crashed frequently while driving for the Prost F1 team, starting off with France. Alesi closed the door a bit too early and Heidfeld hit him from behind, resulting in Jean's race being more or less ruined.
Teammate, Heidfeld came in a little bit too deep in his attempts to pass the Benetton and ran into the back of his teammate. That'll go down well. Jean's not too calm on those sort of situations.
Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg, Austria 2016. The tables were turned 2 years after the Spa incident, and it was Rosberg who got away with the thicker end of things this time. On the last lap of the race, Hamilton was decisive that he was going to win, but it eventually ended up with Rosberg retiring and Lewis completing his goal. However, Mercedes was all but happy with his actions, which brought some consequences and burnt bridges in the relationship of these two.
So his teammates got the inside line, they've touched again! Hamilton runs wide, and is he going to come onto the track and touch his teammate? He's now got damage. Nico Rosberg to his front wing. Bits of carbon fibre are showering the track, and Lewis Hamilton does manage to overtake his teammate.
Takuma Sato and Giancarlo Fisichella, Malaysia 2002. What a bad luck Brian this guy Fisichella turned out to be. His teammate Takuma Sato crashed in his rear end during the 2002's Malaysia GP on the second lap of the race, and although he apologised for his actions, I don't think Giancarlo took it easy.
Both Jordans in the pits, there's Fisichella, big problem.
And he's shot past his pit, and they'll have to pull him back, and it looks like they came together. And look, one's lost its front wing, one's lost its rear wing. They obviously had a squabble into the pits.
Ralf Schumacher and Giancarlo Fisichella, Buenos Aires GP 1997. It seems like Ralf Schumacher was not known as the best teammate. Back in 1997, the Buenos Aires GP saw these two crash while driving for Jordan after a very ambitious move from the German driver. I'll let you draw conclusions for yourself, but I don't think they'll be very positive when it comes to Ralf's skills.
Is Eddie Jordan still watching Ralf Schumacher as he manages to take off his own teammate? Disbelief in the Jordan.
Corner before the back straight, he missed the line and then he was too close to me. And
so these were the most famous crashes between teammates in F1. Now, if you liked our video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notification bell for more related content.